Call the Board of Works to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nina, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Lynch.
Here.
Member Collins.
Here.
Member Lewis.
Here.
Member Young Johnson.
Here.
Member Williams.
Here.
We have the approval of the minutes from April 25th.
Make a motion, we approve the April 25th minutes.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, we have sidewalk and curb waiver for Radovan Markowski. Is Radovan here? Okay. Do you have anything you want to say, or, okay. So everybody has the paperwork?
We tabled this, Madam Mayor, from our last meeting
Yes,
because the homeowner wasn't present.
right.
We had to add the curb waiver too. It was, before it was just the sidewalk.
So on both sides of the paper, you have the sidewalk on one and the curb on the other.
So in this location, there are no sidewalks and curbs in the area. AJ, can you comment on this, please?
Good morning, Madam Mayor, members. It's great to see you. Yes, the project is located on the north side of Independence at the intersection of Independence and Cooley. There's I believe it's a fourplex on the southwest corner of that intersection that has a sidewalk closer to the 4-unit building. But generally speaking, that area is not served by sidewalks and/or curbs.
So I guess that begs the question, is there any future consideration for sidewalks and curbs in that area that, I know that's a tough question to answer, but, we've been really cautious, I think, this board, in approving these waivers with the understanding that down the road there could be sidewalks and curbs, and it could be more costly than what the waiver is allowing for down the road. Just something to think about as we
Do you see
make a
anything in the
decision.
near future there, AJ?
It's like a rhetorical question and a rhetorical question. I think, Mayor, the challenge is, over the years, a sidewalk fund has been funded, and then there's been many years where it's not been funded. And it's hard to really answer that question without knowing that's a stable, a fund that's funded in a more of a stable manner. This last year, the council did set aside funds in the sidewalk program, but that's the first time in many years. So it's pretty difficult to answer that question.
Do these waivers go into that fund?
They do. They do. And the challenge, and really, I guess, more nuance to that, it really depends in that area, the right-of-way, is ownership in that area to the center line of the road? Are we using those roads through prescription? Or or is it a platted subdivision? All of those things, really add to the complexity as to whether or not it would be even possible to fund those projects within, the budgetary constraints that the city has.
So, Scott, it doesn't appear anytime soon that sidewalks are going to be, we need to get going on that west side, but I don't see that happening.
Is this a new construction?
It
this a-
is, our understanding is it's a vacant lot.
Okay. Well, based on the discussion that just ensued regarding the future of putting sidewalks and curbs, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen in the near future, I'll make a motion to approve both the sidewalk and sidewalk agreement waiver and curb waiver. The sidewalk is an amount of $4,000, curb is an amount of $2,000.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have a solicitor's permit for Kodara Sweet Shop. I know, Dan, you had a couple of questions we talked about this morning.
So I did. It seems like she, as requested, provided a letter from the health department. And I guess I just had a couple of questions. It talked about, it was almost like a caveat, as long as she is only selling commercially processed and packaged items that do not require any temperature control for safety, she will not need to be permitted and regulated by the Porter County Health Department. So what is, I wanted some more clarification, I guess, on what exactly we're doing now and what you're planning on doing, only because they also put in there that you have intentions or hopes of installing a freezer later.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So as it stands right now, what exactly will you be selling out of the?
Everything that's manufactured, so Doritos, Takis, all type of chips, all type of Starbursts, candy, pop, water, everything that's packaged.
So no ice cream items or things
Not at this time, no.
So did they tell you if you decide to get a just-type freezer for your vehicle that you have to come back and they have to inspect it?
Yes, ma'am. I have to go through the health department and get inspected, yes.
Okay.
And I may, maybe suggest if we do approve this, we could approve it contingent upon future Porter County Health Department inspections in regard to, them installing a chest freezer.
That is pretty much exactly what I was going to say. I knew you were.
Well, and I think, has the police, I know that there were some things that you needed to clear up with them, and we're all good with that? Perfect. Okay.
All right, with that said, I make a motion to approve the solicitor's permit for Kim Camilla?
Yes, sir.
I'll try not to botch it. And Cassandra's Sweet Shop LLC, with a contingency that if a deep freezer is installed, that it will require a future inspection by the health department, and that inspection be delivered to our clerk's office and be on file.
I second.
We have motion and second. I do have a question. Do you have like a planned route, or do the police have to approve a route, or you just randomly decide what area you're going to be driving around in that day?
I was just gonna drive around in certain areas, like the subdivisions, apartment complex. What I have been doing was going to different complex, and telling them about it, but I didn't wanna go further until I finished.
Okay.
here. But,
That was just, I didn't know how you were going to do that, so, okay.
yes,
We have, pardon? Nina wants to know if you have music. Yes, Ted?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And we have to approve the music, yeah.
If she does decide to drive in the park, she's gonna have to work that through the park board as well. So just-
Yes. So, you know who our superintendent of the parks is, she's right over there, Diane. So if you, for any reason, are all going to go into the park, you need to speak with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
We have new business, special event request for a block party. Michael Rivera, are you here? You want to just come forward? Hmm? Nice hat.
Thank you.
Right team. We're not doing too good, though. Mike, did you talk to any of your neighbors about this? They're all good with?
I actually have not, I'm not sure if my wife has. She kind of is orchestrating the whole thing. I was
Okay.
just told she couldn't be here today. She's at work, so I came for her.
Okay.
I do know that though, between Bree and Mill Run, it would only like affect 4 houses, and we're pretty close with our neighbors, so I
Okay.
don't foresee them having a problem with it.
So are you asking permission to block the street, or?
Yes, from, yes. From Bree just to Mill Run, because we're kind of like somewhat on a corner lot. So again, it's like 3, 4 houses at the most it would really affect, including mine.
So what are the streets that you want to block off? I didn't quite catch that, Mike.
So we're located on Teresa, and it would be Bree Street to Mill Run. which Mill Run's kind of roundabout, dead ends.
Okay, is that off of Robbins?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out where that is, because there's several sections of Teresa.
Yes, there is.
Would that block any emergency access?
We looked at it this morning, since that was our concern, was how far south we wanted to go, but if it's Bree, it is, I think it's 4 houses, and then, Mill Run's on the north side there, so you can get to that section. So, yeah, I don't think it's a problem for us or fire, I don't speak for them, but I don't think there'd be an issue with it, just, obviously, there's an issue with those 4 houses, we're right there, so.
Are you all good with that, Chief Wilkening? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the block birthday party for Sunday, May 28th, for Michael Rivera on Teresa Street.
A second.
We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
You guys all have a good
I hope
day.
you have great weather.
I hope so too, thank you.
So we have the award of the 2023 crack ceiling.
Good morning. In your packet, I believe you have a letter of recommendation for your consideration for the 2023 crack ceiling project. And I'm here if you have any questions.
I noticed the lowest bidder was rejected. Evidently, they didn't follow some of the guidelines. Could you?
I would defer
didn't,
to Attorney Witten.
I could feel that one. Thanks, AJ. So they did not comply, or could not comply with our RBO. That was it. It specifically indicates they have to, and we have that ordinance, and they just couldn't get it done.
Thank you.
So AJ, you feel that the 390,000 is what we're gonna have to pay?
Yes, we solicited bids. As Attorney Witten reported, the lowest bidder was deemed not to be compliant with the city's ordinances, and the next lowest bid was site services. So, some of that has probably to do with union scale and things along those lines. And yes, that's the next bid is Site Services, Inc. The money's available in the budget. It would just be a question as to whether or not an increase is as much as it is palatable to the board.
So you have a couple of choices, Board. You can reject all bids and start over. We can make a finding that the lowest bid was not responsive and go with the next, which would be AJ's recommended awarding, and move forward.
Well, I know it's probably timely to get this moving and get it in place. So I'll recommend that this award go to Site Services for the $390,087 and, what is that, 9 cents? Can't wait till I get my cataract surgery.
I'll second the motion.
And can you add, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, can you add to that motion that you make a finding that the lowest bid was not responsive? That's required under the statute.
Yeah, I will amend my motion to indicate that the lowest bidder was not responsive.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay. We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have the award of the 2023 street paving and repair project bid.
Yes, good morning once again. Included in your packet is a letter of recommendation for this first paving project, or projects plural. The departments deemed that the lowest responsible bidder is Milestone Contractors North, Inc., in the amount of $635,752.20. The project includes work on Samuelson between US Highway 20 and Portage Avenue, Central Avenue between Samuelson Road and Scott Street, and a patch on Airport south of the intersection of Fairview and Airport Road.
I make a motion to approve the award for the 2023 street pavement repair project bid to, is it Milestone Contractors North, Inc., for the amount of $635,752.20.
I'll second the motion.
We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, AJ. It's that time of year again. We have bulk item appeals. Uh-oh, here comes Randy.
Just one for the board to review. There was a mistake made at 5748 Carnation. We did charge that resident $150. There should be a picture depicting, it was a very difficult situation determining which charge would go to each household. So I did speak with the house owner of 5748, and he was in communication with 5736, and indeed, all that trash did belong to 5736. So we did charge 5748 $150. I'm asking the board to review this and possibly reverse that charge.
All right, I'll make a motion to reverse the charge of $150 for 5748 Carnation.
I'll second that motion.
We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Are we going to charge the rightful owner of that, the $150?
That has been processed, yes.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We have claims.
I have a correction on page 3 for, there's appraisal services for $600 at Airport and Loot. That should be charged to MVH Restricted, not MVH. It's about halfway down. MVH Restricted is a certain fund that's very specific, what we charge, and that's when we allow the uses.
And that was a land appraisal? Yes. Okay.
For the traffic signal installation.
Nina, I see Retrieve X on there again. How close are we to closing out that issue?
Let me go ahead and give a shot at that, Madam Mayor. So, as the board knows, we've been moving through the briar patch on getting the files transferred over. We have the hard files and we have the data files. We finally got from them the list of all the kinds of files that they have in data. We had a Zoom meeting where all of the possibly affected departments for the city had an opportunity to go through those files to determine what they wanted and what they didn't need. And as recently as today, I see that the folks from Proven IT were finalizing the transfer of those files. So it's been a bit of an effort, but I think we're just about to the goal line.
That is certainly good news.
4 months and counting.
Yeah.
I have a question. There's a fire gear, it says new hire turnout gear. Is that what it costs to outfit a new firefighter? $22,000. I'm just,
Well, the problem is that it takes a year for this stuff to come in. So once it all finally came in, that was all back. But yeah, it costs about $3,000 to $4,000 a person for new gear.
thank you.
Randy, isn't that a line item in your budget every year?
Yes.
Because you have to replace your turnout
We
gear.
have two different line items. We have new hire gear, and then we also have replacement gear. So all the gear, fire gear expires every 10 years. So we have to rotate it through every 10 years. So we try to space it out enough to not have to do them all at once.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the claims for $578,742.85.
A second.
We have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Do we have to subtract that $600?
No. It'll just be a correcting entry to change the fund.
I'll second that motion.
I think Joetta did already, okay. We don't third motions. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We have major illness claims.
Yes, we do, Madam Mayor. So there are just a few. There's 1 COVID leave and 8 MIs that I have reviewed and approved. There were a couple that I did not approve because they didn't have sufficient information, but I would recommend at this point, the 8 MI and the 1 COVID leave be approved by the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the 1 COVID leave and the 8 major illness claims.
I'll second that.
We have motion and a second. Just a question for you, Attorney Witten. I've been reading in the paper that they're going to do away with the COVID regulations. Will that impact ours, or does our ordinance still control how we have our claims?
So it may conjure upon the council to revisit the ordinance to make some modifications or changes, but it's a standalone ordinance.
Okay. Okay, if there are no further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before this board?
Just one small item. Our residential waste disposal agreement is expiring, that's our landfill cost, is expiring August of this year, 31st to be exact. And the sanitation department is seeking permission from the board to go out and develop an RFP and go out for bid proposal, so request for proposal. I do have a draft that I've forwarded to legal to review, so but just seeking permission from the board to go out and seek proposals.
I'll make a motion that we give the permission to seek proposals for the next, how long is the contract?
We're proposing possibly 4 years.
For a 4-year contract.
Yes.
And what was that for again, Randy?
Landfill cost.
Okay, thank you.
This is all the garbage and recycling that we take. Currently, Republic Services has the contract,
Right.
but that expires August 31st of this year.
All right, I'll second that motion.
The rate will come down, huh?
That's what I'm hoping.
I highly doubt that. We have a motion and a second. Are there any further questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Is there any other business to come before this board? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So it looks like